So, Martin, you, from the Netherlands, you decided, rightfully so, not to go skiing. David, you went skiing. I have to say that I have the privilege to be living in Switzerland and like 45 minutes away from a ski resort, so I did go skiing. So, this said, Martin, thank you for the invitation. I attended, some of the presentations, all the presentations this morning, and I have been inspired. I have been inspired because a lot of things are happening right now in the world of supply chain. Supply chain has been put in the front pages of the magazines and the newspapers and the TV. I mean, from all the way back we can think of, when have we seen, supply chain commentaries made on CNN, not only once, but multiple times a day, multiple times a week. So I always, tell my team and my colleagues and my peers at Estée Lauder Companies, supply chain, we always think of supply chain as the enablers. We always think of supply chain as, the guys who are getting stronger seat at the tables because they can influence, they can, help the organization develop. Now I'm thinking of it as supply chain is really a commercial function. And I know it's already the case for many organizations, and I know that many other organizations are getting there. And I think that's the way we should look at it going forward. So let me take you, now I need just to find out how this works. Green, okay. Yeah, perfect. So what I would like to share with you today is a couple of thoughts, and give you a quick overview of Estée Lauder Companies, take you through, some of the challenges that we face in supply chain, very much linked also to innovation and how, we build resilience around them and how we create, techniques, tactics, mechanisms, and processes, and leveraging also some of the tools and the great technologies that, some of the startups and the scale-ups have shared with us earlier. Of course, sustainability, David, you're spot on. And of course, digitalization. So let me start with, well, first of all, Estée Lauder Companies, and I can see some ladies smiling there. So we are definitely the #1 prestige, I would say, beauty company in the world. We closed our last fiscal at about $18 billion, more than 150 countries, this in terms of distribution, about 65,000 employees, and a level of complexity that is extremely high because we are navigating around 20,000 SKUs. So, as I said, the company is about 70 years old, and we have achieved, that #1 position for quite some time now, and holding on to it. Very strong across multiple geographies, multiple distribution channels, and across multiple categories, from skincare all the way to hair care, of course, makeup, and so forth. And this has been done, and it's not working, through a very strong vision. Vision that started already with our founder about 70 plus years ago. And a vision as the global leader in prestige beauty to continue to be a well-diversified brand building powerhouse of unrivaled creativity and innovation. So we are a company of about 30 brands. So, as I said, across multiple categories, with very innovative products, with very strong franchises, but also a very strong distribution channels, and leveraging multiple engines of growth across multiple regions. So, of course, with social media, we always consider ourselves as being at the fashion end of the beauty care industry. So leveraging the new tools, the new technologies, we have started embracing that quite some time ago, and in many areas we are leading that path. So those are a couple of things that, amongst all what others cannot say about us, only us can say it. I have selected 5 here because they embody who is the Estée Lauder Companies as an organization. So, number 1, we are the only major company focused solely on prestige beauty. Most of our competitors have multiple feet everywhere, multiple toes everywhere. We are only focused on prestige and luxury. We believe that people in creativity are everything. And the examples we have seen this morning with I would say, the scale-ups finalists and the startup finalists is proving us right. And there is a lot of emphasis on people in our organization. We are driven to always push the boundaries, and I'll share with you in a couple of examples. What does that mean in our manufacturing sites? What does that mean in our distribution, and fulfillment centers around the world? We are also, we have strong values, and I think the commander-in-chief was talking about values and virtues. I mean, this is something that speaks and resonates a lot with us because we are also a family company focused on long-term, in other words, very strong values and long-term sustainable growth. And of course, high-touch services is what makes us unique as a corporation. Now, I'm gonna just share with you a short video, and you will understand why I was putting the focus on people. And I think I need just to push.
We are more than a beauty company. We are a brand powered by our people. All 80,000 of us. We are individuals who bring a unique perspective. We are inventors of the future of beauty. We are global citizens who care for the world we live in. Together, we are the Estée Lauder Companies.
Now let me move to the next, I would say, topic. So we call them opportunities. A lot of people call them headwinds and challenges. And for us, they are opportunities, and David, you touched up on them. Those are the times where we need to rethink, our supply chain organizations, our supply chain practices, and we are doing it, with a lot of strength and a lot of power. I'm going to start with signal. So the signal quality for us, as I said, we are at the fashion end of the industry. There is a lot of volatility. A lot of volatility that existed, of course, before COVID, got amplified, during COVID. And it's all driven by, the space in which we are operating. And those signal changes are affecting, of course, if you go all the way down to your suppliers, they have an impact. How can you, through a very robust, planning process, channel those signals, make them information relevant, so they could be translated into planning, manufacturing, production planning, I would say activities that actually deliver, the right product at the right cost and on time when needed. So the complexity comes also from as I said, close to 20,000 SKUs, and it's also the combination. When you go down to a market level, a retailer level, you have a complex combination between, the SKU, the brand, the market, and the retailer or the distribution channel you are operating in. So improving our signal integration, improving our signal orchestration is super critical. And of course, I will talk a little bit later on the investments we have made in the space of technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning, that will allow us actually to navigate that space much faster and manage quickly some of those, changes that are coming from our consumers. Of course, digitalization has been very key, for us also, in that space. Now, agility and responsiveness. So we need to build, and we are building, more robust systems to be able to confront those consumer trends that are shifting all the time. I mean, that's the new reality we live in. And building that agility and responsiveness means, making sure that we have equipment in our factories that can do multi-platform, products, that can fill a jar, a tube, and a bottle, instead of having one piece of equipment dedicated to jars, another one dedicated to tubes, another one dedicated to the bottles, and go push even the boundaries of technology a little bit further, and just say, okay, can we fill a mascara and a tube, leveraging the same piece of equipment. The level of agility and responsiveness we're also developing is the changeover times, the batch cycle times. If we are operating in 10 hours, well, can we do it in 5? What would it take to take it in 5? And candidly, we are so fortunate because we have, and I think David touched up on it, there are so many people that are willing to think outside of the boundaries, to really, challenge the status quo. And the times are here today to do so. So if I, did it change? No. Yeah, it's, okay, I'm not seeing the same thing. It's all right. So sustainability. So we have commitments, okay? But we go beyond just the commitments because they are part of the value. Sustainability be part of our values, and we made it core to the way we operate and think every day in all our facilities and also in our offices wherever they are. So of course, reducing absolute scope 1 and 2 greenhouse gases emissions. Yes, we are on it. We have an agenda. It's public knowledge. But beyond just having that number and putting in place, I would say, the actions and the platforms to go after it, it's also the mindset, to always think how much can we do more and how fast can we do that much more. If I look now at the innovation piece, and this is where we are, of course, leveraging what I would call the 3 pillars. We are leaning on technology and looking at what the technology of today or the one that is coming to us can help us actually create and be more innovative in our operation centers. We leverage also our people, as I said, creating different ways of connecting them, allowing them, empowering them, engaging them in all those think tank operations, and they don't have to be, you have to delegate. You cannot always centralize and control everything, and create, that movement that becomes quickly a trend. Just also a data piece. I mean, a big piece of our business is new products. So when you think about something around 25–30% of products that are new every year, you need to be able. You cannot have a static operating model. You cannot have a static manufacturing model because, yes, you will be leveraging a lot of those common platforms, but you have to have that agility in your factories, in your distribution centers, to bring innovation, technology innovation, people thinking around innovation, process innovation to the service of the product, the innovative products you are, engaging your consumers around. And the other piece that is extremely also important for us, and we have been one of the leaders in this space, didn't wait a lot, to accelerate that. We have 13 of our total brands that are, completely transparent around, ingredients. And this is beyond of being a trend. It's something that the consumers are looking for, and therefore, an area of, call it sustainability for lack of a better term, or just, responsibility and transparency that, we pride ourselves of being, one of the leaders. Now, digitalization. Digitalization, for us, starts with what I would call the consumer. So it's the consumer insights that drive everything back to our suppliers and, of course, to our facilities and distribution centers. So supply chain must become consumer-centric, particularly in the consumer, environment, in the consumer goods environment. I mean, in any kind of environment, to be honest. So what does it mean, being consumer-centric? That means that, think about, in the consumer good environment, supply chain people are the last ones that touch that product that goes to the consumer. We are the last one touching it. So if we have not included or embedded in our way of thinking, way of operating, the consumer centricity, it's a recipe for failure because the mindset is not there. So a lot of work has been done in our organization. A lot of focus on that. I mean, if you visit our facilities, distribution centers, or manufacturing, you feel the engagement of our people towards the consumers. And as I said earlier, it's high touch to the consumer. You feel that high touch in our operation centers. So our consumers are always, as I said, in the heart of our strategy, and we build everything around them. And this is where that consumer experience teaches us how to operate in our factories or distribution centers. Social media is obviously also something that is critical in our world, right? So we are in the cosmetic industry, and we are the fashion end of that cosmetic industry. So therefore, we are extremely sensitive, and we capture data. Predictive analytics are coming actually from everything that we can capture from social media, and then translate those signals back into operational activities, be it manufacturing, distribution, or transportation. Leveraging data analytics and data science. I mean, some of the startup or the scale-ups, that presented this morning, that resonated completely with me because, that's something today, almost our planners or demand planners, we call them data scientists because that's one of the pillars that is required today in that space, given the complexity, the volatility, the number of SKUs you have to deal with, the data that you have to navigate with, and most importantly, how do you convert all that data into meaningful, information to be used by your colleagues in the organization. Personalization, customization are also part of what we call that digitalization, because our world is all about high touch. Our world is creating that connection with the consumers, and therefore a lot of activities in personalization or customization. If you buy a Joe Malone bottle and you want it to be engraved or laser printed because it's a gift, well, that's something that is now part of our operation center. And it could be done in a manufacturing side, or could be done in a distribution fulfillment center, whereby, and we see that more and more across multiple industries, distribution centers are becoming light manufacturing sites, all driven by the shift that our consumers are looking for. And thank you for the opportunity to be with you guys today. And Martin, the floor is yours, or Janet. Thank you.